something that they will learn is who not only Mufasa, but all of these characters were way before we met them in the original 1994 original. We're meeting them as adolescents. We're meeting them when they're not quite in their bodies. They're kind of wearing shoes 2 or 3 sizes too big. They're a bit clumsy. And I think that's really endearing, and I think there's a lot of joy in that. And also to learn about the trajectories from point A to point B, which is arguably the final point in 1994, where they're very much in their rhythm. How did they get there? What are the circumstances that they started in, and how did they utilize those circumstances or overcome them to get to where they land? Friends, and the importance of those relationships, those personal relationships in our lives, if we're blessed to have them, and how to preserve them, how to nurture them, and even in moments of challenges, how to communicate in a way that is only ever conducive to them staying solid and continuing with us on our journeys. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of cinema and the silver screen, so I will always encourage audiences, if they have the time, to see something on the big screen, just for the sounds, the imagery, and the feel of it to be received in the way that the great Barry Jenkins intended.
Taka is the son of a king. He's a young prince, and he's destined or being set up to be the king of his pride. But then he meets this young orphan named Mufasa, and he invites him into his pride, and you know, some tension starts to build, and we know how it all ends, but we get to meet this beautiful young couple who really just wants a brother. I mean, we had Lin-Manuel Miranda, who I'm a big fan of, and the music's absolutely just stunning and fun and playful, and I definitely think that it holds up next to the '94 version. So being in the studio with him, that was a dream come true. A week before, I was thinking we need to talk about Bruno and karaoke, and then suddenly I was in the studio with him, so that's pretty cool. You're never just inheriting something, it's earned. What Mufasa has done, being an orphan who couldn't swim, and then suddenly became this iconic king that we all love and grown to respect, was something that he put in work for every single day and constantly was following his heart and his intuition on what he felt was right. And I think, you know, we got to earn our leadership. Barry Jenkins is always going to make a beautiful film, and this one is nothing short of just stunning.
It's great. I always love coming to London. I've never been to London around the holidays, and it's beautiful, and it's lovely to be here. It was so much fun. I get to record all my stuff with Billy in the actual room with him, which is very rare in these animated films and in voice recording work in general. And so it was great. I had a really good time doing it. They're sort of like some of the narrators of the story in a way, and then they're babysitting Kiara and kind of telling the story of Mufasa with Rafiki, who's doing most of the heavy lifting narratively, I would say. I hope they enjoy it and find something meaningful within it.
He's an outcast, an albino lion who's picked up his own gang, bitter people, bitter lions. And they just want a place in the sunshine as well, but the place starts growing and growing, and he gets ambitious. We all grew up with, you know, animated Disney films one way or the other, and Lion King has played a big part in a lot of people's hearts, mine as well. My daughter grew up with it, so I watched it a billion times. I'm just super proud to be here and be part of this little family. It's a prequel, and it's a beautiful story about brothers and jealousy and love, how Mufasa became Mufasa and how Scar became Scar, and that's really at the center of this story.
Oh, it's so exciting. I love London, love being here. I love this movie. It's a spectacular movie. I'm very flattered and grateful to be a part of it. So I was here for the 2019 premiere and happy to be back. Timon and Pumbaa help Rafiki explain to Kiara who her grandfather Mufasa was and how he became brave and how he became a leader. But really, Rafiki's doing the heavy lifting there, and Timon and Pumbaa are trying to insert themselves into the story desperately. It's a spectacular movie. I think Barry Jenkins really knocked it out of the park. There's so much to take away from it. There are incredible action adventure sequences. I don't know how they do these things, but they're amazing. It's really spectacular. Makes you feel like a kid again to watch it.
The biggest thing was I just saw so many of the themes in my previous work in this, and yet it's The Lion King. And I also saw so many things that I didn't know or just didn't realize about these characters that were just so wonderfully detailed in Jeff Nathan's script. It was the technology. You know, once I read the script and I realized that the story was amazing, I watched the 2019 film, and I thought there was something about what Jon Favreau and MPC, the animation company, what they were doing that was really interesting. It sort of deconstructed, you know, my memories of the story as a kid, and I thought, oh, that'd be interesting to play with. The main thing for me is this idea of good versus evil. You know, for 30 years, Mufasa has been purely good and Scar has been purely evil. And I love that we get to go back in time and we see how these characters, we meet them as children. No one is born good or born evil, but through a series of choices, through their response to the way the world treats them, you see one person evolve into the best version of themselves and another person evolve into the worst version of themselves. And I think that happens every day, you know, in our lives. And so I think that's a really big message to take from the film. I love Blue Ivy did a really wonderful job as Kiara. To me, she's like the emotional core of the film. She's where kids are going to see themselves in the movie most directly. But then Preston Nyman, you know, who's local to London here, he plays Zazu, and he brought just so much new energy and new life to that character. And then Mads Mikkelsen, you know, everyone's favorite villain, just did a really wonderful job of humanizing, you know, a guy whose worldview I do not agree with. So yeah, it was a really, really great time working with all of them. To me, it was a microcosm of the film where Lebo was so core to the DNA of the sound of The Lion King, and Lynn respected that, Dave Metzger respected that. We just embraced it. It was a really beautiful process.
I play Afia, and she is Mufasa's mom. She is very loving and caring, and she is very concerned with raising a son who is strong but also emotionally intact and has his hope still in his spirit, because that's important for boys, to still have some hope and some softness to them. This film shows you that when you love someone truly and honestly, that is when you come to real friendship, real sister or brotherhood, and that is how we move forward. I love being a part of the music. Milele was written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. It is a beautiful, beautiful song. There are some really fun things in the movie. I Always Wanted a Brother is absolutely so much fun. And it's just a wonderful thing to be a part of the Lion King universe, to be perfectly honest. The scope of the movie is extraordinary. It is so vast. I was in Kenya last winter, and the way that they have captured the movement of the animals across the land is absolutely mind-blowing. It's stunning. It's beautiful. And I mean, it'll be great to see later on your television, but when you see it on film, it's beautiful. It's stunning.
When we were planning all the looks for the press tour, I said, you know, I'm playing a Disney queen and I want to feel royal. And I think when we saw this dress, that's what it felt like. It's by a designer named Me3 Dot, a Chinese designer, but based here in London. And we thought, perfect, let's wear it in London and give some sound. We find her before she's this perfect queen and mother, right? No one is just born like that, just perfect and full of wisdom. And so we see her when she's looking for her pride. She's lost her community, and I think she is finding community in Mufasa. The music in this film is written by the incredible Lin-Manuel Miranda, so you know there's going to be all bops. You're going to be able to dance to things. You're going to feel it really deeply. And I think we're making more kind of classic music that I hope that audiences will be singing along with for decades to come.
This is my home country, of course. I was just in LA and I'm so happy to be here, to be fair. Typical British weather here. I'm freezing, but living it out, and I'm just loving it. He's very bored until Mufasa comes along, of course, but he's very energetic. He's a bit of an extrovert, and he wants to show his love to everyone. I definitely say how Scar changes, of course. As we know in the original, he's evil, he's a bit cunning, and just to show them that he's actually good from the start, and something provoked him to change, of course. I'd definitely say they should see Mufasa on the big screen because it's a Lion King movie, and Lion King movies are known for being good, and this plot is amazing. So it's coming out December the 20th, and everyone's in for a treat.
It was very exciting to finally team up with new composers and an excellent, amazing director. And spending time with Lin-Manuel in the studio for me was it. And working this project, I was honestly very nervous because I was like, oh no, another Lion King. I can't. But by the time I get the script and I speak to Barry, the director, I knew it's a whole new ball game, and it was exciting that I'm going to be part of yet another 30 years, and I got to write a new song for the beginning, which is the highlight of my career, probably. The audience is going to be blown away because even now, we don't know what to expect. It's a prequel, so I think the exciting part is watching the evolution of Mufasa and Scar as children, and how this family actually was even bigger in the evolution. And I think the new characters that are introduced in the movie are going to be absolutely amazing. So I don't think it's going to be anything but a huge surprise. It belongs in the big screen because the directing is absolutely out of this world, and the animation is going to the next level. And of course, the cast itself, driven by the music, is just out of this world. It's a movie project before anything else.
If you've seen the original of the 2019 film, Zazu's very confident that he's good at his job, confident in himself, obviously quite bossy. I think that in this one he has those qualities, but he's not quite experienced enough to know whether he's good at his job or not. So I think that there's a lot of fun to be had watching him kind of try and learn how to do his job. For me, the most important theme is about the responsibility and how, Mufasa is a very powerful leader, and he wasn't born like that, and he had to learn to make responsible decisions and lead responsibly. And I think that that's a really amazing lesson for kids and families to learn this Christmas. I hope everyone has a great time watching Zazu. It makes everyone laugh. The music, if not Zazu, I think the music is spectacular and really enriches this Lion King world that we all love already. It is spectacular. So I would see it on the biggest screen you possibly can. Take your whole family, get snacks. I would say we saw it in 3D a couple of nights ago, and that was even more amazing. So see it massive, see it in 3D if you can.